Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let me show you how to add up time durations in hours in Mac numbers. Now let's say you want to keep track of the number of hours you worked doing something like a specific project. So you're keeping the times in a spreadsheet, but you need to calculate the number of hours you worked each day. This can be a little confusing because there are two different types of time values in spreadsheets. One is a specific time, like an actual time right now, a date, hour, minute, and second. Another type of time value is a duration, like the number of hours, minutes, and seconds that have gone by. And of course, what you want to do is have a start time and an end time that are real time values, and then a number of hours worked as a duration. But you don't just want a duration. You want an actual number of hours, maybe even rounded to the nearest quarter hour. So it takes a little bit of work to get that value. But let's start by taking a look at a spreadsheet that could serve as an example. So here we've got dates in the first column. We have a start time and end time. So like the last one here, you've got the date and you may record, say, the start time as 10 a.m. and then maybe the end time as 2:10 p.m. like that. So you've got these three values here and you want to compute the duration for each one. Now this could be fairly simple if your data is clean. By that, I mean if you look at these time values here, they're just the time. There's no date, but there is a date. If I select any one of these values, every date value is a full value down to the second. So for instance, even though I just typed 7/8 here to get this date of July 8th, if I select it and look at the value below, I'll get the date, but there's a time there of midnight. And if I look at this value here, you could see it says July 8th, 9:50 a.m. And this one says July 8th, 5:30 p.m., which is no problem. If I were to take the end value and subtract it from the start value, I get a good duration. I'm going to use equals here, and I'm going to click on the end time, then minus the start time. Fairly simple. And return gives me 7 hours and 40 minutes. Perfect. If I take this and I double click on the column letter there, it selects all of these and now I can paste it in and I get 7 hours and 40 minutes, 6 hours and 40 minutes. But wait a minute, look at this one. 1 day, 5 hours and 40 minutes. Why is it that? Well, the start time was entered on that date. You can see it says July 9th. But the end time was not. When you finished work that day, instead of recording the time, you waited to the next day to do it. And now you get the next day's date, the date that you were using there. You just typed 5:15 p.m., but it took it as July 10th, 5:15 p.m. Now you could just fix this by double clicking on it and changing the date. But if you don't want to go through all of that and always be recording the date and the time for each one of these, you just want to make it really simple, we can do better by doing this calculation and ignoring the date. It's a little bit more complex than you would think. Let me show you how. You're going to use a function called time. If we look up time in the functions help, we can see time takes hours, minutes, and seconds. We can also see we've got functions like hour, minute, and second that extract those values from any time value. So we'll go and use hour, minute, and second in each one of these. For hours, I'll do hour, parenthesis, and then the hour for the start time. And then for the minute, I'll do minute and parenthesis, and the minute from the start time, and then second and the second from the start time. And I have those three values, the hour, the minute, and the second, taken from this cell and placed as the three parameters in time. The result is I get the same time. It looks the same, but what it is it's actually a time, but without the date. Or more accurately, the date is set to 1904, January 1st. So if I take the same formula, I'll just copy here and paste here, I'll get the values from here. I moved it over one when I pasted, so all of the references in it moved over one as well. And now I get these two values, but instead of being on different dates, they're now on the same date. So I can do this cell minus this cell, and it will correctly give me 5 hours and 40 minutes. So now I've got a good duration. How do I convert that to actual hours, like decimal hours, not hours and minutes? Well, you can do that using a function called dur2 hours. If you look that up, you see it just takes a duration, which is what this value is, and it will convert it to decimal hours. So like that, and now I get 5.67 hours. So that's good. That's what I want, except now I also want to round it to the nearest quarter hour, or better yet, round it up to the quarter hour. So I'm going to go back into this formula here, and instead of just converting it to that, I'm also going to round up. But if I round up just this value, and you have to look up round up, always look up the function before you use it the first time, and you can see it takes digits as the second parameter. So I need to say, oh, I don't want any decimal digits. I want it to be rounded to the nearest integer. So if I do that, you can see it rounds up to 6. I want it rounded up to quarter hours. So to do that, I'm going to convert duration to hours to quarter hours by multiplying by 4. So like instead of 3 hours, I would get 12 quarter hours, right? So now this rounds up to 23 quarter hours. To go back to hours, I simply divide by 4 like this. And now I get the next highest quarter hour as the result here. So I'm doing it now in 3 different steps, but I could easily combine this all into one. All I need to do is reproduce each part of this in one formula. Let's start by taking this cell here and pasting it there, right? So it's just going to grab the start time, but is doing it using the hour, minute, and second function inside of a time function. I'm going to select all, copy it, and I'm going to subtract it from itself, right? So it's always going to be 0. But the idea is I want it to subtract the end time from the start time. So I'm going to update each one of these values here like that. So I can quickly update that first one. So now it's going to take the hour, minute, and second of the end time inside a time function and subtract that from the hour, minute, and second of the start time. So there we go. I get the total time. Now I'm going to convert that using duration to hours like that. Close that parenthesis there, and I get the duration in hours like that. I'm going to round it up to an hour with no decimals there. So it does that. But I don't want to just round up that value. I want to multiply by 4, so it's rounding up to the nearest quarter. So 21 quarters. And then at the end, I will divide by 4 again to now take me back down to quarter hours like that. So I get that value. If I were to copy this, double click here and paste it in, you could see I get all these values here and clear this out. I now have exactly what I want. If you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 3,000 others that support MACMOST through Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You can read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. But that's a pretty long formula, mostly because of the conversions using time and hour, minute, and second. We can simplify this a little bit using a different function instead of that one. We're going to use a function called TIMEVALUE. TIMEVALUE not only strips out the date of a time, but converts it to a decimal where 1 represents 1 day. So the time at 4:25 p.m. comes at 0.68 or 68% into the day. So we can simply subtract 2 time values like these two here to get the amount of the day that passes between these two. In this case, 23% of a day has passed between the end time and the start time. But we don't even need to use duration to hours to convert to hours. All we need to do now is convert this to quarter hours. So what we're going to do first is put this in parentheses so the subtraction remains grouped together. Then we're going to multiply by 24. This gets us the number of hours, but we want the number of quarter hours. So we'll multiply by 4. That gets the number of quarter hours. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use round up, just like before, with comma 0 to round up to the nearest quarter hour there, and then we'll divide by 4 to get the hours back from quarter hours. We paste this in here and we get the same result with different functions, but it's a little bit easier to read this. You can see it's just subtracting both times, but each time is wrapped in time value to get rid of the date, and then multiplying by 24 to go to hours, multiplying by 4 to go to quarter hours, rounding up, and then dividing by 4 to go from quarter hours back to hours to give you what you want. If I want to total them up to see how many hours I worked for the project, I'm going to control click or just click on the little context menu button here next to the last row and add a footer row below. Right here, I'm going to press equals and then sum of the entire row D like that. And now I get a total number of hours worked. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. Want to know about every new MACMOST video each week? Sign up for the absolutely free MACMOST email newsletter at macmost.com/newsletter.